for us, any document that has to go to the school system has to be officially approved by NACA. Until NACA has done that, we don't approve that. In fact, this is kind of a draft or a dummy, and if it was going to be approved, it is going to appear in this form with a foreword, usually signed by the Director General, signed by the Director General. So that is how come the name is there, but it's not been signed.
Should we disregard this document?
Please.
Or should this document give us anxieties of what is to come?
It shouldn't give you any anxiety.
It says that, like millions of young people around the world, Ghana's adolescents and young people need accurate and comprehensive education about sexuality. This is 2015.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And the document says that the target group are for teachers who are teaching young people for first and second cycle institutions. That is from KG to senior secondary school. So the idea of comprehensive sexuality education is being in the system. And they are, this is a source book. This is actually a material that the teachers will need to use. And as you read in the document, it's already in the school system.
Yes,
now,
that's still not the problem.
Now,
the problem is the content of it.
Yes, and therefore, the content of it must be designed in a way that are relevant to us culturally and age appropriate. And that's why this document is still in the system. NACA and me, even though I have not handed this document to our assessors, this document can never pass. Let me tell you.
As it is.
As it can never pass.
Why have we been told? Why have we not been told that
That's why this document has been there over a year.
Okay.
That's why it's been lying down over a year. Because look, you cannot define CSE to say that an approach, systematic approach to equip young people with the knowledge, skills, attitude, and values they need to determine and enjoy their sexuality.
That's a problem.
In our country,
that's
here,
Ghana,
yeah, our sexuality is determined. It's predetermined.
Yes, by the appearance of genitals.
Yes. We know that we are. Nobody has the double. No. They have their own will to determine their sexuality. Yeah. So that is why this document is lying down.
We have not heard such a strong argument that you are making now against this over the last week of the conversations.
I have been out of the country. I just came this afternoon. Okay. And obviously there were calls for interview, and I mean it was very difficult because I was engaged elsewhere. But the point is that the document says that in here, let me show you. It says that for the purpose, I'll read something here. It says that the term comprehensive sexuality education is used in many international guidelines. The terminology, however, has been received with mixed reaction in Ghana and some other countries, partly because of misconceptions that teaching young people anything related to sexuality will encourage them to have sex. Adom-Otchere is a professor in Tech. Cape Coast. Yeah. Then it says, despite contrary evidence, and this is very important, for the purpose of this guideline, the term comprehensive sexual and reproductive health education has been adopted instead of CSE. It's captured here, and yet the front of it calls it CSE. Yeah. So just to make the point that this is not a finalized document. In another point, how can you tell me that at Model 4, children at age 10 are going to discuss something on relationship, friendship, dating, and courtship? Yeah, we do that in the United Kingdom. And therefore, this document cannot fly. And that's why I was very baffled to see somebody posting pictures of female genital organ and saying that it's part of the curriculum. It is not part of the curriculum. Because in the development of the curriculum, the council itself, NACA, has membership of religious bodies. The Christian Council.
Why haven't you issued a statement to say all of what you're saying?
Because I came this afternoon.
But you don't have a staff? Don't you have an office? Don't you have a staff? Don't you have a secretary?
Sometimes internet connectivity, it's been a challenge, honestly, in all this world. And that's why it's really been a challenge. And sometimes you felt like, because the point is that
then you have a lot to do from today.
There's a lot of misinformation. Look, when you talk of a social construct, CSE is a social construct. Like in natural science, you will know when you say a speed, the definition of a speed is ubiquitous. When you talk of height, it's ubiquitous. It's a natural science term. When you say attitude, how do you define attitude? It is contextual.
Yeah.
What your definition of attitude is different from another definition. And therefore, when you say CSE, because it's a social construct, it has to be defined within a social context. So our CSE can never be construed as another person's CSE. In any case, social studies is taught in Ghana. Is Ghanaian social studies the same as American social studies?
No.
And therefore, the point is contextual. So when somebody goes to pick a document from United Kingdom or Brazil or Canada and say, hey, there's CSE out there and people are going to teach.
Well, in Canada, they say they banned it.
No, you cannot. Look, in our country, you cannot. I myself come from a strong religious background. My father was a Muslim, my mother a Christian. None of these religious bodies or institutions or faiths that I have been born in subscribe to that. And therefore,
but it's not so much about you. It's about the policy.
Sometimes, yes.
It's not about you. It's
people
have
resigned from their position because they don't believe in the policy.
Yeah, so if the policy drives you away, yes, we still have a battle on our hands.
The point I'm trying to make is that the country itself fronts on some behavioral tendencies, that are alien to us, including LGBT. We have made it point clear.
Especially that.
The President of the Republic has boldly stated that this country does not subscribe to that.
It's criminalized.
Exactly. And therefore, under what circumstances should a curriculum system or a school system then develops a curriculum that promotes that? Look at the curriculum. If you pick the curriculum, there are cross-cutting issues. And it says that one of the fundamental principles of this curriculum is cultural identity. How do you marry the two? How do you have a cultural identity and then begin to introduce concepts that are alien to your cultural identity as a Ghanaian? That actually undermine and insult our sensibility as Ghanaians. And so this, for me, from the onset, seeing that a document from PPAG, document that is alien to our curriculums, being thrown out there and then attributed to the curriculum itself, I was very shocked.
But didn't the minister say that in September this will be implemented?
The minister makes a statement in February.
Yes.
In that statement, it's February. It was the February 03 program. In that statement,
03, no, you made it this year.
No, I mean the program, the name of the program.
Okay, yes, 03, yes, correct. Yeah.
Now, this is a policy intention. His policy intention is that these guidelines would go through the process.
By September.
By September. We are now developing what we call a learning assessment framework. I'm sure he would have said somewhere and said that by September, learning assessment framework would have been ready for implementation, but we have not done that. We are still in the process of doing that. The textbooks are still also in the process. So he has made a policy intention that this should be ready for implementation in September. But if the processes that needs to go through in order for this document to be finalized are not concluded, then that intention has not been fulfilled.
It will make its way next year, September then?
No. I'll make this point. It could even the CSE document define in our context to mean reproductive. In any case, we can decide to even change the name. What do we seek to achieve? We want to give adolescent people opportunity to understand issues relating to their body, their sexuality. Exactly. So if we want, and if that name is creating a problem, it's terminology, we can change that. But the most important thing is that in this curriculum, the curriculum is broken into different parts. We have content standards. The content standard defines the broad areas that we want the children to demonstrate, to understand, be able to do, to understand and demonstrate. And then beyond the content standard, we have indicators. And then we have exemplars. I have brought this to you. Take it. It's for you. 4 copy. I want you to go through each of the content standard and show me where CSE is stored there. The mere mention of CSE in there does not mean that it's a content. You have made reference to it in the here. And I will not deny the fact that in the resource pack here, it talks about contemporary issues addressed through the National Pre-Tertiary Curriculum Framework. And these are, you cannot deny the fact that CSE is
but people say sanitation is corruption.
Exactly, So it's here. Sanitation is here. Road safety, the Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Transport have indicated that they have a program when they want to bring it to the school system.
I see you have green economy there too.
Exactly. Green economy. Climate change, MIDA, Millennium Development Authority, is supporting developing some materials for energy conservation and climate change and the rest. When they do that, we will assess. It can be supplementary reading materials. We will assess and see they are relevant to the teaching context, including whatever these guidelines will be, whether the final name the name that they have it here called comprehensive whatever is the one they are going to use. Comprehensive sexual and reproductive health education is what they are going to use, or CSE, or whether reproductive health, whatever name that they will adopt and bring, the content must be relevant to our cultural context. Now, in any case, this is a guidelines. The guidelines set the broad parameters within which any activity or any teaching and learning engagement relating to this subject area should be located. Now, beyond the guidelines, then you go into the content itself. So even if we approve this, the content itself, like developing a supplementary reading material, must still come to us again. And you cannot put.
But who do you work under? Whose supervision do you work? Because we want the Ministry of Education.
Yes, we work under the Ministry of Education.
So Parliament does have a role in this.
No, in terms of assessment.
In terms of the
so one, for
content,
example, so this is a policy document. So let's say it's this is a policy document. So once it's a policy document and set a broad goal for the whole of Ghana, when we approve, if we approve, then we will write a letter to the minister and say we have looked at this, we've examined and can establish that there is nothing in there that does not, that offends our cultural and societal norms. And before we do this, they would have engaged in other stakeholder consultations. Now, once we write that to minister will then submit it to cabinet for him to get cabinet approval. Before it becomes a policy. So we don't have any CSE policy.
So there's no, all the noise is much ado about nothing.
Honestly, I think that it's misinformation. Somebody out there, has taken the whole country on a wild goose chase.
Somebody sending me a text, an important one. He says that, please tell Dr. Armah the following, that the statement is in the budget statement by Ken Oforiatta.
Yes.
It is also in the teacher's kit, which the minister denied. The minister said it's not there. And then it says it's all there on the NACA portal or website. A draft document is not printed in full color and ready for the market. If it's a draft document, it's not printed in full color, ready for the market. This is always done as a sample when everything is approved. So why is it in the teacher's kit?
Is
it true that it's in the teacher's kit?
What is the teacher's kit?
What is in the teacher's kit?
This is the
CSE matter is in
the term CSE.
Contemporary issues addressed through the National Pre-Tertiary Curriculum Framework.
Okay, so it's contemporary broad issues.
Yes, this is the National.
So let me read that for
That's
them.
the National Pre-Tertiary.
So is it part of the introduction part of the book, isn't it? Teacher's resource book.
Yes.
Resource pack. That's what it's called. So this is going to all the GES teachers.
Exactly. Every teacher.
Teacher from what? KG to class 6?
This is from P1 to P6.
Yes. So P1 to P6. Okay. And what does this represent? Contemporary issues and addressed through the NPCF, and then values of the curriculum skills. What's this?
Okay. So you see.
Executive summary or what is it?
Yeah, I'll show you. This document has different parts. The front part of it, this early section, is called front matter.
Front matter.
The front matter contains summary of the curriculum framework. Remember, for the first time in our history, because we want to have flexibility in curriculum development, we have developed what we call a curriculum framework, which specify the broad areas that we want to achieve. And then out of the curriculum framework, an individual subject level curriculum is developed. This is how curriculum systems operate. And this is the first time we are doing that in this country. So we've set that, but in doing that, there were several policy documents that were consulted. The Constitution was consulted as a guiding principle. Constitution of Ghana, Education Act was consulted. UN Sustainable Development Goal was consulted. The UNESCO Education 2030 Framework consulted. We have something we call National Teacher Standard, and then the National Teacher Education Curriculum Framework. Then there are other ones, including Adolescent Reproductive Health Development. And the custodian of this document is the National Population Council. So all of these documents were consulted.
Why is here contemporary issues addressed through, and you have comprehensive sexuality education?
Yes. So I'm saying that here, what we have said, what we have in the framework is the issues that confront us as a people, issues that have been raised across the globe.
Oh, okay, so that's what is here.
Exactly. So we want to highlight, because
so that is why the issues that you outline here is gender equality and equity,
exactly,
inclusive education, comprehensive sexuality education, energy efficiency and energy conservation, anti-corruption, climate change, green economy, sanitation, road safety.
Yes.
So you're going to develop
so
content for each of these.
So saying that these areas, these are broad issues of national interest, and therefore in developing the whole curriculum, it must take account of it. The curriculum must take.
So it's an advisory document.
Yes, this part is to summarize what is here, because they can't read it. They will not have time because of pressure and some other activity. We decided to just pick the key issues here and bring them here. So this is just a summary for the teacher.
So this book I'm holding, this is the creative arts curriculum for primary school. Creative arts only?
Yes, this is for creative arts. Yeah.
So what I'm holding is so you have every subject here.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, and you are saying that all the subjects.
Yes.
There's nothing. So this document and this one, which is the implementing document.
This is the curriculum. These are the curriculum.
This is the curriculum that will be taught. That will be implemented.
Exactly. In the curriculum, the contents are divided. You see, you just open any page, and you see that we have content standard.
Content standard is there. Yeah. So content standard, indicators and exemplars,
exactly.
Subject specific practice and core competence.
So these are the things that the people will learn. And so if we want to find out whether there's comprehensive sexuality education in there as concept and content to be taught in the schools, you check those areas, and you are not going to find anything like that. And the point is that,
but this is for 1 year. It will change.
No, Paul. This is a 5-year policy document. The intention is that you, at least by 5 years, you must review your curriculum. But the point is that I want to ask this: the teacher is at the center of any policy implementation. You leave him out, no matter how beautiful your policy is, you cannot get it implemented. We spent huge sums of money to train 152,000 teachers. If we have curriculum to content for CSE, why did we not include that into the training and train teachers on CSE?
Yeah.
As teachers have not been trained. So are we going to look for money to go and train teachers on CSE?
Are you under pressure to include CSE in their curriculum?
Not at all.
You're not under pressure from UN and UNESCO and Planned Parenthood.
The point is that our people must understand contemporary issues around us.
I want to know that it's similar to my own experience. I studied abroad for some of my study, and before I traveled to that country, I was given an orientation, and I was told that in the country where I'm going to study, I might find a man and a man kissing. So they were preparing my mind for it, so that when I see it, I don't scream and I don't attack them, I don't beat them up and all of that. So I was told that. Yeah. Is that what you are going to tell the children? Is that the point? I wasn't invited to do the same, but I was told that in the country where you are going, you will be seeing these things.
God forbid. God forbid. In this country, my mother was married to my father.
No, but it's not about you.
No, the point, no, you see.
It's about the policy and the system.
It's
about the system.
No, I'm making the point that we have a certain value, all of us. This hue and cry and everybody, and with the professor or pastor saying that 90%, yes, 90%, all of us are against gays and lesbians. So that's what I'm saying. That's why I keep putting myself in. So we are against it. We will not allow anything that undermines our values and societal norms, to be in our school system, because that is the only way we will get our culture, adulterated. The cultural practices adulterated. We think that the way we are as Ghanaians, we are okay. If they think that we can export things to them, we can ask them, okay, in our country we accept polygamy, in our cultural practices. Why don't they also, accept polygamy in their context?
The point is that this comprehensive sexuality education, as he read from this material, has different meanings and different interpretations. If you Google now, you go on to Wikipedia. Wikipedia will tell you that comprehensive sexuality education is about teaching about homosexuality. That is what it will tell you. But
and that's not wrong, is it?
Well,
that's how they
it is wrong here.
Yeah, it's wrong here.
It is wrong here. Okay. To teach positively about it or negatively about it. It is wrong in Ghana. We don't want to hear it at all.
When we saw the news, South African news item, they were talking about in theirs they are alleging that it includes masturbation.
Yeah. So whatever masturbation, homosexuality, lesbianism, gayism, etc., they are anemic to our context.
And no one GS can assure us that
we're all on the same page.
GS is not in the position. It's a policy issue that, I mean, GS is not in the position to do that. GS as an agency, a law-abiding agency, cannot do that. Does not even have the mandate to do that. It's simple and short. I think what we need to understand is what is our understanding of the comprehensive sexuality education. I think it's a language about sex education, reproductive health, etc. that has developed over the years. Because when we were growing up, there wasn't any word like comprehensive sexuality education. There wasn't. These days, I'm told that when you say maleness, it means something more than a male. In one of the examples that I've given, when we were young, in the 60s and the 70s, when you say Jews, the word Jews, any child who says Jews is a bad boy, a bad girl.
Jew, the tribe.
Jews.
Orange juice, pineapple
juice. Now when you say Jews, we are referring to orange juice or what do you call it? Pineapple juice or whatever.
You mean the sociology has changed the meaning?
Yes. You know, so all over the years, we've done sex education, reproductive health education, etc., etc. We never use the word comprehensive sexuality education. It has evolved to a point where this new term has come, and as a part of that, it has been defined in some contexts to include masturbation, lesbianism, etc., etc. In our context, we don't define it as so. And that is why Dr. Armah was referring you to that definition, what talks about to determine whatever.
Yes,
whatever
that one is very worrying.
Yes. And this is, you know, once this material is put together, as I indicated, it has to go through a process. It hasn't gone through that process yet.